What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conversation Station. This episode, we're going to be reviewing PeaceMaker Season 2, Episode 1. Now, the first thing I'll say about this episode is that it is well-paced, but fast-paced. So much happens before even the beginning credits. Just a lot is unraveled, and it's really fun, and it just shows just how much of a ride this entire season and that episode in general is just going to be. Right before the beginning credits start, we get a shot of PeaceMaker letting Eagly out as he's getting bothered by him to get let outside, but it's just too cold, so he lets him fly around in his little storage area. But in doing that, he just kind of starts to wander around, which I guess he's never really done that before. He's probably only been ever let in there by his dad and only went in there to get the helmets that he's got. But it stands to reason that there's other Peacemakers if they would also have a dad that makes a doorway into that same area. So it's, interesting that, this is the first time he's ever really explored or walked around inside of that, storage area. But it was really awesome to see, it was really mysterious and scary, and it was really interesting. And then just to see, the character come out of the door and toss that little thing into the fire was really funny, but also illustrates how different all of these doors are and how really unexplored this area is. Now, as PeaceMaker enters this other universe, when he finally finds that door, he obviously is very struck by just everything he sees around him. I mean, he tries to take it all in, and we get shots of the top trio and the key that they won to the city and just all the achievements that he's had with his brother and his dad. As we see, this PeaceMaker is just wildly more successful. I'm guessing because his dad wasn't evil, he just used his genius to become a billionaire, which makes sense versus, the Augie Smith that we have in our PeaceMaker's universe, who was just a criminal who I'm guessing just couldn't get it right. And that's why he lived a regular life in a house and, just built his crazy high-tech gadgets, but didn't use them to advance technology in his universe at all and use them as patents to get himself rich. But clearly that wasn't the case in this new universe. Like I said, big mansion, has to do with all three of them. His brother's still alive, which is, obviously a huge thing to PeaceMaker, and you can just see how much that weighs on him in this entire episode. And that was a really cool thing just to see them play with, and it was really awesome that he got to, see his brother and tell him that he loved him and stuff like that. Now, the one thing I was curious about, but I was already sure that they would do, is change the intro. The first intro for the first season was really great. I loved it. The dancing sequence was just perfect, and it was just cool to see how everybody worked together, and you could really tell how much work they put into that. And I'm sure it was hard to keep a straight face just doing all that fun stuff, as well as how hard it was to do the work, because people, some of the cast members seem winded by the end of it. And in this new one, it's the same thing. They put just the same amount of energy and work into it, and it seems just as fun and as awesome as the first season. And it's really cool to see, all the new characters and Rick Flag Sr. in there, and at the very end, he's basically out of breath under everybody. So it was really cool to see, how much they changed it and all the differences and things like that. But it was just really fun and colorful. And of course, everybody brought their best dance moves. So it was awesome. Now, we also got the scene with him applying to the Justice Gang, and basically, it went exactly how we seen in the trailer, with just a little bit more added. There wasn't much more there, because obviously he wasn't going to be joining the team. This was just a little way to have a nod that he was in that universe, and in the beginning, they pretty much rewrite all the little stuff from Season 1 of PeaceMaker.
Late, you fucking dickheads.
What a meathead.
Screw that guy. He tells people I'm a puke freak.
They did some rewrites and just kind of get it out of the way at the beginning of the episode, which I thought was a really cool and clean way to do that. And it's just really awesome to push everything forward. That was pretty cool. Now, the team is obviously still dealing with the fallout from the first season with Amanda Waller, and she's clearly blackballing Hardcourt, and the rest of the team is having just as tough a time out there, it seems. Vigilante is working his regular day-to-day job, but it just seems the fallout from everything that happened in that first season isn't quite done, and will definitely be referenced in this next season. Now, again, I'm just going to say how just impressed I was with the pacing of this episode. It gets right into it, and by close to the end of the episode, PeaceMaker, is checking out that other universe again, and as he does, he kind of fucks up and basically kills that other PeaceMaker. And that was something I did not see coming in the very first episode. It was definitely like a jaw drop moment. What will happen next is a huge question, and how he's going to handle it. This is obviously going to be hugely devastating to PeaceMaker, with everything he said about trying to get with who he kills and things like that. Him obviously killing himself was a huge accident. I don't think he was intending to kill him. PeaceMaker opening up his storage area ends up sending a blip on Argus's radar. They say is the same type of anomaly that happened in Metropolis with Luthor, therefore referencing the Superman movie directly, and I thought that was pretty cool. Just a quick one, but it was, really, really direct, and Rick Flag Sr. uses that as an opening to investigate PeaceMaker and completely go after him, obviously for the death of his son. Overall, I'll say this episode was just an absolute ride. It's everything I've been waiting for all this time, and I just am so satisfied with it, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out. I really appreciate any time you spent watching my videos, and I hope to see you again.